Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cast and Spear podcast. My name is John, and today we have the final episode with Matt Bond, aka Cut Professor on Instagram. Hit him up, say hi. He's awesome, a wealth of knowledge. Today we're going to cover parasites, eating raw fish, and how to get your kids into spearfishing. Let's dive in.
Going back a little bit to the raw aspect, how do you get somebody over the fear of, this is the first time I'm going to be eating raw, or what do I do about worms or parasites or all that kind of stuff?
I've got some very astute friends who just won't eat it raw. I can't convince somebody, and I don't want to convince somebody that doesn't mentally can't get over eating raw fish. I think if you're already eating sushi, I think if you eat medium rare steaks, you have a way higher chance of getting something bad from beef than you do.
Interesting. I've never heard somebody say that.
Are you kidding me? Right.
Well, I mean, I know like factory farms and all the kind of crap that is on the meat.
Not intramuscle worms like you would get from fish. And I'll talk about the specific worms you got to deal with in our fish, but E. coli bacteria, right?
Okay.
Things like that's what I'm more concerned about. And I mentioned this to you. The first thing, have immaculate, wash your area down with bleach all of the time. Clean your knives with bleach, 15-20% bleach solution, scrubbing, use soap. You want things clean. Clean your hands, cut your fingernails.
Do you use a wood chopping board only?
Plastic. Yeah, plastic. Is
I thought plastic harbors the germs more.
Gotta pour bleach on it every freaking time.
I guess.
Clean it every time, dude. Bleach or you know what I mean? You got to clean. When I worked in a seafood restaurant, every night you bleach the cutting boards.
Yeah. Okay.
Metal or wood. My concern with wood is it's porous. Now it has tannic acid, which might help, but I think I don't know if I would use wood to unless I could steam it or.
Well, I thought they were supposed to soak it in the mineral oil, and then those kind of oils make it hard for the bacteria to grow.
I don't
know,
man.
Hey, I'm
use
not
use an inert. I would use use like a piece of Lexan or whatever that stuff is made out of, and clean it. That's what I do. But listen, people are going to have their hangups with eating raw fish, particularly raw local fish, and it is what it is. You can freeze fish. And I think I've sent it to you, but there's even a guideline from the Department of Fish and Game that talks about the parasite you're worried about here is called Anisakis or roundworm larva. They have an interesting life cycle where they have to be in a marine mammal host, usually a seal. They call them seal worms, or a cetacean like a dolphin or a whale or something like that. They can't spread in your body like a tapeworm or something like that is. And I think a lot of people associate the worms you're going to get from fish with a tapeworm, and I'm going to get this infestation and they're going to take me over and I'm going to die. So there are worms in our fish. There are worms in the tuna that you get in the sushi bar that hasn't been frozen. There are worms there's worms in fish. They are visible. So you can see them. Right. And so, and they have a low likelihood, even if you didn't see them and pull them out, of attaching to you. If they do attach to you, most normally what happens is you feel like you have food poisoning. You get a bad stomach ache, you get diarrhea, gastrointestinal distress, puke, feel miserable, and you're fine in a couple of days. Right. In really, really rare cases, they attach long enough where your body forms a cyst around them and you get a cyst in your gut. Right. That's the risk. That's a real risk. I am very, very careful of looking at every piece of sashimi that I slice. Right. And the other thing too is a lot of you guys make ceviche out of stuff and go, I never eat raw, whatever, but I make ceviche. The acid in that does not kill these things. Right. They need to be frozen. I want to say for 4 days. I don't remember that protocol from the DFG. At a pretty cold temperature, like colder than your regular.
I thought it was -5 for at least a couple days.
Right.
Your regular freezer for at least a week.
Now, for me, it ruins freezing fish ruins it for sashimi for me. and I've spent a long time eating this stuff. So this is my, my disclaimer. You can't blame me. Do it on your own risk. You can't sue either one of us. We're just trying to give you guys ideas. Research it, understand anisakis and the worms and everything else. I truly am more concerned about bacteria from eating raw stuff. So I'm very, very mindful of cleaning my areas, but it's a risk. It is a risk. Yeah.
I think that's helpful. The cleanliness and all that is just, I'm bad at it. I need to get really good. I've put some friends at risk. I'll just say that, but they didn't complain.
You're probably going to be fine, but it's that one time that you're not, and you're eating something raw, right?
Right.
That's the thing. Cooking kills a lot of the bacteria. If there's true food poisoning in cooking, it's not going to kill the toxins that the bacteria have made. That
right.
Like things like salmonella and botulism.
Yep.
But so. I'm not going to convince anybody, but I'll tell you, like they're delicious, man. I've had a guy, I won't name his name, but a stalwart spearfishing, competitive spearfisherman, Pacific Coast champion type guy. I finally got him to eat sashimi perch the other day. Holy crap, man! Oh, and so he couldn't dive. The last time I went, he asked me to spear him some fish, so I gave him 4 rubber lip perch, and it's really good. It took me years because I would spear white sea bass and yellowtail and give them to this old Japanese friend of the family, Bud Nakano. And he goes, "Oh, it's good, but man, you got to get surfperch. I'm like, we'd laugh and go, "Oh, old Bud's crazy. He wants to eat surfperch." And I finally did it one time and I'm like, "Oh my God." And if you think of that really kind of soft texture that comes across that is not so good when you cook them, unless you do it the right way, that lends itself to just a really buttery, nice piece of fish to eat raw.
I'm now excited. I'm excited because you just mentioned how there's just such a plethora of other fish to not put a stigma on.
Perch also grow super quick.
Right.
Super quick. There's more or less no commercial fishery for them. Most people aren't taking them. They breed super, super successfully and super, super early. It's a really sustainable fish. Listen, I've eaten even a midshipman, which is a disgusting fish, and I wouldn't do it again. But like when I was a little kid, I used to catch gobies and blennies out of the tide pool and put them on a stick and put salt on them and grill them, and they're good.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Listen, 98% of our fish that you can get spearfishing or fishing is better than tilapia. I'll give you that, right? Better than the crap, the
better
stuff
than
you're
farm raised.
Right? It's way better. And I've got people that do a lot of business in the Midwest, and everyone's fired up on walleye, and walleye is all right. The worst perch is better than walleye.
So tell me a little bit about your time in Mexico. How often do you go down to Baja?
I haven't, I have not gone to Baja in a long time, like a long time, maybe 20 years. As a young man, I used to go down 2-3 times a year and spend time down there. So I went from San Felipe area all the way to the tip and just about every island throughout there. Stayed with Mexican families. Not a lot of time on the Pacific side, a lot more on the Sea of Cortez side. Speared grouper and pargo and wahoo and little tuna. Never got a big tuna, 50 pounds. Cabrilla and man, what a wonderful place. Yeah.
One big aquarium.
Yeah, and just fascinating big stuff. There's lots of big stuff.
Are you ever going to go back, or is it just something?
Yeah. A lot of it for me was I had, getting established in a career and having a family and looking at what priorities are. It's all about, doing what you need to do at the time. And so now time seemed like Baja trips are in the future for sure.
I got a question for the people who are thinking about starting a family or whatnot and like to spearfish. Any words of advice outside of don't be stupid or did you have people to rely on you?
I'll give you real advice because I'll give you like harsh advice, but I'm gonna give you advice. Buy life insurance. I'll tell you that right now. I've seen the last couple of years, young people die and then GoFundMe's selling gear and things like that to pay for college education. Be responsible. So real important. Take your you're holding your breath for a long time to get a lobster out of a hole really seriously, because there's people waiting for you at home, right? All that aside, I mean, I guess I'll say priorities are important, and the family thing goes quick. The kids grow up fast. The relationships with your spouse, partners, whoever they may be, are important. Spearfish enough to keep yourself feeling like yourself, to not lose that part of you. But it's okay to slow down. What you do does not make you who you are. If that's, without being too profound, it's those relationships and connections and the leadership you're giving your children and the role you play in your relationship that are far more important. Keep weaving the fishing into it, but no, in my life, know what's important, right? I watched also a couple of very good spearfishing friends kind of force their kids into getting into it immediately. Get into it. Look, I get freaked out sometimes still. I'll get anxiety in the water or get a weird feeling or whatever the hell. Imagine putting a little tiny kid who's looking up to you that wants to please you in that situation where they don't have the full capacity to say, no, Dad, I'm scared. And so going back to those friends, I saw them have kids that shot white sea bass when they're 9 years old. And then at 15, never spearfish again, because it was not what they wanted to do, is what Dad wanted them to do. And in one case, what Mom wanted them to do. So I made the decision to let my kids ask me if they can go. And I wanted them to be very competent. I was blessed by growing up next to the ocean, so spent a ton of time in the ocean, understood rip currents and all that type of stuff. I wanted my kids to be competent in the ocean, comfortable in the ocean, and then really, 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 really want to spearfish. And then I would take them. So it took a while for me to take my son. My daughter started, and then she gets darn seasick in the water. So we're going to continue to try. But yeah, I waited until my son Noah was, I think, 11, about when I started, 11, 12. And he was begging me by that time to take him, I let him follow me around and watch me, particularly in places like Hawaii. But and now he loves it. So that's advice, family advice.
He's going to be a legend like his dad. Watch out.
I don't know if I'm a legend, in my own mind, at least.
And I guess the last question that I want to ask you is, why do you spearfish?
It's a good question, because I thought about that a lot. And I've gone through times when I haven't for periods of time, and I keep coming back to it. I don't really have a good answer. I just said it's not who you are, but it's such a part of me. It also now has become, with my son involved, but also the meals that we have and people that I give fish to and the camaraderie. And there's a cool group of people up in Central and Northern California. This guy, it's a spearfishing truck camper. I can't remember his first name. Wonderful guy. Marcus, Sean. Met these guys from Instagram. We went all spearfishing together at the same time, not in the same group. And these guys have cook stoves out, cooking everyone fish tacos in the parking lot, and drinking Modelo's and the whole deal. A lot of it now is the aloha part of it, and people always go, oh, it's a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle, it becomes almost like a tribe. And then it's cool being asked to do things like this. And if I can give something back and teach people a little bit of what I learned, and then learn from them, and then it reinstills passion in you. It's just been part of my life for so long, I think, It's
awesome, man. Well, dude, Matt, how can people find you? And
Salabot 408. I'm not on Facebook. Salabot on Flickr if you want to see all kinds of other stuff I do. But yeah, mostly these days I'm on Instagram, probably too much.
And do you have any last resources you recommend people check out?
A couple. So I would get real sharp on. I use a site called Surf-Forecast to look at what the weather's doing, and I compare that to NOAA. I think knowing when to go is really important. I look at Temp Break, which is a free. It has ocean temperature and also has chlorophyll readings for free, which is nice. Not as good as Terrafin, but it's free. So that's a good resource. There's a book by a guy named Milton Love called Certainly More Than You Want to Know About Pacific Coast Fish. It's a great book, man. I would read that book and know about the different fish. And then what else? Yeah, that's pretty good for this, I think. Yeah, that's good.
Dude, Matt, appreciate it. This has been super educational and awesome.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Hey, one more thing before you go. If you're on the socials, you know, the Instagrams, the TikToks, the other platforms, follow us. Say hi. At Cast and Spear all over the place. That's at CASTANDSPEAR. I'll see you over there. Chat soon.